also the Lubbock Avalanche Journal. So how long have you been here, and how much input did you have on this class, Coach?
I've only been here about a week, probably total, maybe a week and a half, so not a lot of input. When I got here, I got caught up to speed as quickly as I could with guys that were already committed and already signed, and then maybe who we were still targeting towards the end of the class. But so not a ton of input, but very excited. Looks like a lot of good players, a lot of good size and speed.
A lot of players on the offense. I guess anyone stick out to you in terms of what you like to do in terms of your offense?
You know what? I don't want to single anyone out right now, and I tell you because I don't know them well enough to do that. Snapshot, though, there's a lot of speed and a lot of playmakers, which excites me. That would excite any offensive coach. So with what Coach King has done in the past and what we're going to evolve to do and just continue with this offense, I think we're going to put as many playmakers on the field as we can and just try to wear out a defense.
Coach, Will McKay, Red Sports, and what's exciting about these two tailbacks you signed here in this late period? It seems like they fit a lot of the things you guys are going to do.
They do, and we have a need at running back. And I tell you, to me, they're two different players. You got the one young man, Tayshawn, that is just electric and can go, can score from anywhere on the field. And then the other one's a little bit more of a bigger back, a little bit more of a pounder. So, and quite honestly, that's what you want. You don't want to load up with too many guys that are the exact same. So I think we had attacked both those needs, and they're going to be great additions.
How much do you know about the roster you got already at this point? Is it more you just come in and you learn about the recruits more than you do the roster at first?
So I'm trying to learn a little bit of both, and that's why this past week has just been such a whirlwind. With the current team, what I've been doing really is trying just to form my own opinions just based on their work ethic so far, watching them in the weight room, out at the runs with the strength coaches. I have not tried to listen to outside opinions because I want them to know you got a new crack, a fair shake, and show me what you got. So we'll piece that together as we go through spring ball. Those 15 practices will be critical to us. But I'm excited. It's a fresh start for everybody.
For you, and I know the way that you've liked to run the ball in the past, how exciting is it to have your entire starting offensive line come back and then as many guys as you've signed to in the class?
I don't know if you could be in a better situation to have those guys come back. And, I've had some short meetings with those guys just in the last 3 days. And I told them that listen, we need to build this thing around you. You're the strongest position we have coming back. You should be a year stronger. You should be a year smarter and wiser. So, yeah, we're going to build around those guys. And I think certainly when, you watch the Super Bowl, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Patriots couldn't block them. And I think that completely changed the game. So anytime that you're strong up front and you can control the line of scrimmage, you're going to have a chance to win every game.
Coach Don Williams with the Lubbock Avalanche Journal told me Kliff earlier, he used the term that you wanted to, have your offense evolve in a certain way. And he said he also would like to have the offense evolve. What are some key components in terms of personnel to what you like to do, what you want to do?
I think that's a great question. But what we're going to do is use what we have. So I don't know if it necessarily means what I want to have. I think right now we look at what do we have, and we're going to make that work. Coach Kingsbury's always been a spread guy. And really that term in college football anymore is thrown out from everybody. Everyone thinks they run a spread offense. Well, some guys use 2 running backs and 3 wides. Some guys use a tight end and 3 wides. Some guys are 4 wide receiver sets. Some guys have running quarterbacks, some don't. And I think we're going to be different this year than these guys were a year ago, not only because of our quarterbacks, but because of the receivers we have back. Running backs, we don't quite know maybe what we have as far as all the depth that we have. So that's a very fluid question right now. I think we're going to work this spring to figure that out, exactly who we are. In my world, I've always been used to playing a little bit more with a tight end in 3 wides. But I was taught a long time ago, a good coach can adapt to whatever you have. And that's what we're going to look to do this spring.
You've also used a little one back too.
A lot of one back. Yeah, I'm more familiar with one back. But again, anytime that you play with a one back and 1 tight end and 3 wides, you can also substitute that tight end with another running back. It's still sort of the same thing, sort of the same scheme. So everything sort of fits. I think it's just a matter of putting the pieces together.
Hey, Coach Jared Johnson, inside the Red Raiders. You mentioned the tight end, and just in looking at some of your history, you do use a lot of tight end. Have you seen tight end candidates on the roster? I know you only been here a week, but Are there any candidates to play that position?
So I've seen some names. I know they have some bodies that fit that position. I know it's not, we don't have 10 of them. But I also haven't seen enough to say, yeah, we can build around this guy, or no, we can't. Again, I think that goes back to spring ball and us figuring out who we're going to be. But we for sure have a couple big body types. It's just a matter of, are they going to turn out to be productive players for us? Are they not? Can they do what we want them to do? I think a lot of those questions remain unanswered until we get to practice.
Whether it was at Western Michigan or it was Indiana, you guys ran a ton of 11 and 12 personnel. What's just kind of the philosophy with that and the way you guys use tight ends in the run game?
You know, it's interesting. In a lot of those places where I was, we didn't have quarterbacks that could run. And to me, if you are in a spread offensive system and your quarterback cannot run, well, then you need to do something to protect the edge, to block that backside defensive end, if you will. Here this year with what we have, I know we have a couple quarterbacks that can move a little bit, so maybe we won't need that big tight end presence. But for me, in years past, that's why I've always done that. Now, we also recruited that position. We developed it. It was a big part of what we did. So, again, just different to me, just a different spread offense. I think that word can mean a lot of different things.
But Joe, imagine through the hiring process, you and Kingsbury talked about how this is going to work as far as play calling, coming up with a game plan. Can you kind of give us an idea of what the game plan is?
I think that is in the works, to be honest with you. And I don't mean to be vague, but I don't know that we've sat down and said this is exactly what we're going to do. You know, Coach Kingsbury, you're looking at one of the best play callers in the game, one of the best offensive minds in all of college football. If we don't use that to our advantage, then I think that's foolish on our part. My role, the way I'm looking at this, is I'm coming in to help him any way that I can, whatever that means, putting together the game plan, offering some ideas, challenging what maybe he has done in the past, and on game day working with him however he needs. But I don't think anything's been set in stone as of right now today. But we'll work through that. We have a lot of time to work through that.
Coach, a lot of Kliff, the last 5 years, a lot of his coaching staff hires have been coaches that have roots here or in this region. So you're kind of outside the box from that perspective, coming from a totally different part of the country and Big Ten background. How did y'all's connection? How did this guy come about?
I think it's a great point, because this is totally outside the box, right, for Coach Kingsbury. And I think, right, this was more just through our coaching connections. I would say, late December, January is kind of when you first sort of made some initial contact just to see, is there any interest? And I know he did his homework through all kinds of candidates. Again, we're at one of the best offensive schools in America. There isn't a coach out there that wouldn't have an interest in this job. So I know he did his homework and checked off the boxes that was important to him. And I think it's a credit to him that he did go outside his network, if you will, because to me that shows that's outstanding leadership to bring someone else in to say, how can I evolve? Any good organization, any good team is always evolving, and Coach Kingsbury wants to do that.
How many conversations did y'all have, and how long did y'all talk before you got the offer?
Yeah, I don't know if I know all the specifics. 3, 4, 5 times.
And you came down here to interview once or more than once?
Once, and then I met with them one other time.
What was it, from afar that, you didn't know him much, but what was it that's always stuck out about his offense, and now that you've gotten to know him, what is it that kind of draws you to him as a coach?
It's just production. And it's like the New England Patriots. It doesn't matter what happens every single year, those guys show up in the Super Bowl. Well, whether you like them or not, you have to give them a lot of credit for what they've done. It's the same thing here with Coach Kingsbury. I mean, I don't know what it's been like in the past. I don't know what he had and what he didn't have. All I know is every single year, those guys are at the top of the stats every single year in production, in yards. So they're doing something right and something that is exciting for me to learn from and just to see what I can add to it.
Coach David Collier from the ABC affiliate here in town. I mean, you've been calling plays the last couple of years. I know you were co-offensive coordinator with Kevin Wilson there in Indiana. I mean, ideally, would you at least like to call plays? I mean, I know that hasn't been finalized yet, but is it hard to go back? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know that it is hard to go back because to me, I don't have an ego, and I'm not going to let that get in the way. I want to win, and I want to be here for a long time. So, no, it doesn't really hurt my ego at all. I think any offensive coach would love to sit and say, I get to draw the plays and call the plays. That's a lot of fun. But at the same time, it's pretty cool when you can do it with somebody as well. And I think that's what I'm looking forward to do. I look at this really more for me professionally is an opportunity to grow and learn a new system and expand my network. And if I can be here with Coach Kingsbury for as long as he will have me here and I can help him take this offense to the top, then I'm going to do that.
How much have you talked to Nate Sumfield in the past week?
Just a little bit through text messaging, nothing in person. I know I tried to stay away from him the week of the Super Bowl because I would imagine he was a little busy. But awful proud of what he's done and such a cool experience.
What was it that made him good?
His work ethic, his commitment to being the best. Nate had outstanding size, but really need to work to put on the muscle mass, improve his foot speed, improve his arm strength. And he did all those things. He always had that look in his eye that he wanted to be great, and he worked at it. And he's at a place now where I'm hoping he can be in that league for a long time. I know he has the skill set to do it.
Two more. For you guys, wherever you've been, you guys have had a ton of production at running back. I think 5 straight years of 1,000-yard back. What is it about the system that's helped tailbacks really succeed for you guys?
We try to be dynamic enough that even though we have run plays called, we still have maybe wide receiver screens built in or routes built in off that, so that you just never can let a defense cheat. And Coach Wilson taught me that a long time ago. Randy Walker taught me that before that. Just you have to find ways to take the extra hat out of the box, and also our commitment to it, that we were gonna coach toughness and attitude, and we were going to protect the point of attack with our tight ends. But recruiting helps. Recruiting some good backs and letting those guys feed them the ball and let them wear down a defense. But it's always been good.
Coach Bailey Burmester with the ABC affiliate in town. You've only been here a week. Who is Kevin Johns without football? And you can answer that however you see fit.
Wow. Football's such a big part of my life. I don't know. I enjoy reading. I enjoy studying leadership. So as much as I can read up on those guys or do as much research on that, I try to. I enjoy being a dad as much as I can and playing golf with my kids. But this has been such a big part of my life for so long, I don't know what I would do if I took it out of my life. But I would be a dad. I would invest my time in my kids as much as I can and reading on leadership.